All right, everyone, welcome. Dr. Tran here from Color Chiropractic. I'm pretty excited, as always, to be able to do some of these interviews. It's actually really been a while since we've done one of these, and I couldn't think of a better way to be able to do it, considering that we've moved into our new space, than to talk about a new practitioner, a face that some of you have probably seen around the clinic and some of you may have seen around the community. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Katrina and tell you a little bit about her. I think the topic that we'll be discussing, I think, will be really pretty eye-opening for a lot of you, like it has been for me. But Dr. Katrina has over 20 years of experience in structural integration and body work. One of her specialties is in Ayurvedic, as an Ayurvedic healthcare practitioner, and it may be a new word to you as it has been to me, and a lot of discovery. But a really cool thing is that it integrates the idea of creating individualized sets of self care practices. And they're easy to implement. She's kind of talked to me when I actually did some consultation myself. But welcome, Dr. Katrina.
Thank you, Dr. Tran. It's nice to be here talking with you.
Yeah, great. Well, I always like starting it off by letting us know a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your journey, maybe into body work, what led you towards Ayurveda itself.
Yeah, sure. So I had a long career, I suppose you could say, of doing desktop publishing, graphic design, pre-press work. I used to typeset Pokemon cards back in the day, and wedding invitations and business cards and things like that. And I loved it. I was very good at it. I found great places to work and had good people that I worked with. But at some point, my soul was ready for its evolution and to do something else, and I just kind of couldn't stand doing the work anymore.
Mm,
And it was a moment of inspiration that I decided to get myself laid off so I would get severance pay and unemployment,
mm.
and I could go back to school to learn to do the structural integration bodywork.
Oh,
And
great.
that kind of started a whole new direction in my life. Two of my classmates were Ayurvedic health practitioners, so in the bodywork training. And the whole training, I had one ear on what the teacher was saying and one ear on what the two of them were saying, talking Ayurvedic terms about things like anatomy and physiology and kinesiology.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it was very fascinating what they were saying. I finished that program, set up my practice, really enjoyed it, but a few years later just had a feeling that I wasn't doing all that I felt I should be doing. I really enjoyed doing structural integration bodywork. I still do that work 20 years
Mm-hmm.
later and love it. But it just didn't feel like that was everything
Mm.
I was going to be doing. It was a subtle feeling. And a couple of years later, I realized, oh, Ayurveda was really intriguing to me. And so very quickly, I was back in school learning to do that work. So I
Yeah,
continue to do them both today.
yeah. Well, Ayurveda, I knew it before about just an ancient practice in India, but it's just so much more as we've consulted together. Can you explain it to people in ways that they can be able to understand?
Yeah. Um, so it's an ancient modality. It's at least 5,000 years old. It goes back to a time before we had a country that we called India, right? It is
Mm.
pre
Mm-hmm.
India. And what we understand now as Ayurveda is really the conglomeration of regional healthcare practices from different parts of what we call India, right? India is a very large country with many different climate zones in it, much like the United States. And so each area would have its local plants and resources that they use for health and healing modalities. And so what we call today Ayurveda is like a big group of all of those things pulled together.
Mm.
Um, so Ayurveda is very good at understanding the rhythms and cycles of nature, and that we are a part of nature,
Mm-hmm.
even though we're very smart and we can make cars and airplanes, and in many ways we can supersede nature by, like an airplane's traveling very quickly across large distances. But Ayurveda knows that we're still a part of nature, and just like trees and the wind that we have today and animals, we are influenced by nature.
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, there is what most people know about Ayurveda is the doshas. the three doshas.
Mm-hmm.
And these are simplistically understood as body-mind types.
Okay.
And they're based on a 5-element theory that is similar to Chinese medicines, but it is different.
What do
So
you mean by body?
simplistically,
What do you mean by body mind types? You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So simplistically, the three of them, I'll just describe them briefly. They
Okay.
are Vata, which is mostly the air element,
Okay.
so it has movement to it. There is Pitta, which is the fire element,
Mm-hmm.
and there is Kapha, which is earth and water.
Okay.
And so each of those types describes things in nature. Like I mentioned, that we have wind today. So Vata is more predominant today than it was yesterday.
Mm.
A week ago, we had a little mini heat wave, and it was about 90 degrees, 100 degrees, depending on where you were in the area. So that was a more Pitta day, more fire, more heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in nature, those are kind of examples of how the doshas can show up. If we have a more rainy day, that would be water, that would be Kapha,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Within us, the doshas look like those elements. So you can have a person who is, like Woody Allen is a great example of a Vata type person.
Mm.
He's kind of skinnier, he's always worried. You know, he plays that character very well. I don't know if that's how he is in his personal life or not.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a classical Vata type person, kind of smaller, wrinkled, thin lips, small eyes, wiry hair, less tissue on the body, so leaner type. That's a very typical Vata type body.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the other end of the spectrum now to a Kapha body, the earth and water elements, we can call on Oprah. She is our excellent ambassador for a Kapha type body.
Okay.
So much fuller, rounder, ample, right? Smooth, big, full features, right? Full lips, a broad nose, big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a Kapha body type. And then in the middle, the Pitta type is quite moderate. So we think that they just, you know, they're not too big, they're not too small. There's nothing that kind of snags your attention. Nothing looks out of proportion with a Pitta.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to have very angular bone structure. They can have moderate features, but they can have intense eyes. Like they usually have a very direct, clear gaze.
Mm. Interesting.
Right.
So is the idea to, one thing I'm just, growing to appreciate about Ayurveda is that you're considering more the individual instead of considering the disease itself that the person manifests in. And
Correct.
by attending to the individual and probably their type, as in these three doshas, can
Yep.
you actually bring about the cure to the disease? I mean, is that kind of the idea?
That is the idea. And there are a couple things I'd like to touch on. One is that dosha is a Sanskrit word.
Okay.
And if you translate it into English, it means fault, as in a fault line, like tectonic plates, fault line. And so we know that when two tectonic plates are sitting next to each other very easily, comfortably, there is no fault line. We don't notice anything. Things are in balance, right? But when for some reason one fault line is pressing against another or rubbing against the other, that is when we notice the fault line. So in the analogy of that with Ayurveda, that is when now there is dosha, right? A client of mine calls your dosha your major malfunction. So it's a way that you typically go out of balance. So when we are in balance, there is no dosha. We are, we have equanimity, we have equilibrium. There's nothing out of balance to work on.
Yeah.
But each of the dosha types does have a way that it consistently goes out of balance. It's kind of like a default. So for a Pitta type, the fire type, they get angry, critical, blaming, judgmental, emotionally. Physically, they can get heated.
Okay.
And that can manifest as red skin, inflammation, diarrhea. right, in the physical body, heartburn, acidity, indigestion. And yet, a Pitta's greatest strength is its fire
Yeah,
element, is
that's
its
what I was thinking.
capacity,
Yeah.
yeah, to digest, to transform,
I'm just being
metabolize.
me, you know?
Right, right, right. So it's a double-edged sword. Whatever your type is, it's both your greatest strength and your greatest challenge.
Interesting. Okay.
And so in working Ayurvedically with someone, we work to determine someone's constitution so that they know what their combination strength challenge is, how to keep it from going excessive, right? How to bring it back when it's gone a little too much, a little too out of balance,
Mm.
and then how to support it in
Yeah.
being balanced. So yeah, it is completely individualized medicine and wellness.
Yeah. And it'd
Yeah.
be interesting when you apply this in a clinical setting because the types of, I don't know if you want to go into the types of clients that you see, but it might be interesting to kind of see this philosophy, how it manifests in a clinical way to address a person's chronic pain or digestive issues, fatigue, that type of stuff.
Sure. I see a wide range of clients. Basically, someone who wants to improve their health and wellness in whatever way that is going to be a good fit for me and Ayurvedic work. And generally, in my experience, we can all use improving our health and wellness somehow.
Mhm.
There is something, either currently or in our past, that shapes us today that we could use help to get better balance with. Beyond that, Ayurveda knows that food is, and digestion of that food is of primary importance.
Mm.
So there's a strong focus on what foods a person is eating and are they eating appropriately for their type?
Mm.
How are they digesting that food? And then everyone's favorite topic, are they pooping that waste out, right? How's their elimination?
Okay.
So we
Okay.
look at input and output.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Output.
And then beyond that, of course, we have a huge toolbox to draw from in Ayurveda. So we have herbs, we have treatment protocols, we have a panchakarma program, which is a planned purging of toxins and wastes from the body. It's kind of a reset that ideally is done once a year. It's
Mm-hmm.
very expensive. Yeah, no other modality on the planet has anything equivalent to panchakarma. It's really unique to Ayurveda.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
is that set on the individual type that the person is? It's a little different from for that person, depending on who.
Yeah, the way we do it at the Ayurvedic Health Center is there is a structure that we've put in place that, I mean, we've been doing it for decades at this point. It works really well. But within that structure, we modify and adapt for the client, taking into account their doshic type, their constitution, as well as what's going on for them at that time, and then the season of the year. So if we had a fire type person, they would receive a different panchakarma in summertime than in wintertime.
Oh, interesting. So it's like, yeah, it's not like something that you just. It depends on when they want to initiate it, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And depending on when they started, their type would actually indicate different types of lifestyle changes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Kind of a cleaning up in a certain way.
It's a cleanup on all levels. Yep.
Okay.
Body, mind, and spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Well, I mean, I'm pretty excited about the idea of a potential class that you're putting together. We were thinking about sometime in September, around maybe time to be determined, but we were thinking around the 24th
Yeah.
as a possibility. What types of things do you think we could uncover during that time?
Well, in the past, I've done many of these. They're always fun to do. People enjoy them. There can be a little tiny lecture that I give about the doshic types. I often have printed handouts and usually a dosha quiz. People like taking a dosha quiz. So I can have those on hand and people can do a quick dosha quiz and then get a sense for their constitutional type. And I can have some tip sheets on hand to give them with some generic, easy lifestyle habits, dietary practices that they could put in place to start working on their health and wellness.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been such a cool experience to be able to see you just in the office and on certain days of the week. I can see us probably more and more as we grow in our practice to see how our arts can be able to complement one another. How do you see chiropractic being complementary to what you do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love modalities like Ayurveda that see the whole person and work with the whole person instead of a model or an idea of a
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And chiropractic work does that very well. I love the wide toolbox that chiropractic care has.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I would like to think that I can be whatever a client needs in totality, that's not reality. There's
Yeah.
things that I haven't studied yet in this lifetime and don't know.
Yeah.
And so I'm always happy to refer clients to a different practitioner who has a skill set that I don't have.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah,
there's going to be so many different other people that I'm really looking forward to interviewing or getting for our audience to really know, because the idea of really the holistic health practice is really about providing that means for a person to practice health, to be able to
right.
live it. And
As an ongoing practice, as a lifestyle choice.
right.
I consider Ayurveda to be lifestyle medicine,
Yeah, very
not
cool.
something like that you have, whatever, a scratchy shoulder or something, and like, how do we get rid of that and move on? It's like, how did that get there? What's that about? How do we keep it from happening again?
Yeah. Well, very
Yeah.
cool. Well, how can people be able to find out more about what you do?
Thanks. The website I have is ayurvedichealthcenter.com. I newly just buffed it up and polished it and made it more
Uh-huh.
shiny again, so it's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of information on there for people to dive into. There's a whole section, I call it helpful info, with a lot of posts about things Ayurvedically that they can look into and research and put in place if they like. I have tip sheets and food lists. Everybody likes a doshic food list.
Mm.
Those are up on the website.
Oh,
There is a
cool.
dosha quiz there. And of course, there's an option to get in touch with me and schedule to come in.
Yeah. There's even a free ebook from what you were saying here about
There
Ayurveda
is a
too.
free ebook, and there's also a paid book that I co-wrote with my colleague and did all the design work
Cool.
on.
That's all on the
Yeah,
website?
it's all on the website. Yeah,
Awesome. Oh, good deal. Well, like I
yeah.
said before, it's such a pleasure to be able to have you as a
Thank
friend, but
you.
also now as a colleague, just to be able to be in the center as well too. So, we'll be building up more and more as we go, and hopefully this will be really meaningful to anyone that is able to view it. If you like this video or if you like this interview, feel free to be able to share it with different people. And if you are
Yeah.
interested in Dr. Katrina, go ahead and check her out. She's just upstairs from our new wellness center.
Hi,
So,
everyone. If you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, feel free to share, and subscribe to our YouTube station. If you have any questions or suggestions, we appreciate it. Just email us at info@colorchiropractic.com. And if you want to know more about our practice, go to colorchiropractic.com. We are Color Chiropractic, where healing is achieved through personalized care and collaboration.